Well, thank you both. Thank you for joining us today. I hope that you enjoy class. And as always, if there's any concerns or questions or feedback, you let me know. You can write to me in the chat or we can talk before class this week, next week, whenever. But I'm just so truly happy you're here. Let's send this week off with a bang. We're going to get started standing today. And since you didn't make any requests, I'm hoping that you may have brought an open mind to do just a little fun, free-flowing Tai Chi movements in a moment. Let's warm our bodies up first. We're going to take our feet outside our hips width distance, just right outside, and then turn our toes out just a bit. Let's lift our left heels and twist our bodies to the right. Same on the other side. Right heel lifts, body twist to the left. So let's just keep trying that and see what happens. Our arms will start to sling around, yes? Okay. Now we're going to let that happen. Tuck our chins towards the floor, round into our backs a little bit. And the goal of this swing and wrap is to come into connection with our breath. We'll take a big inhale. And then a full exhale. Maybe open mouth will feel good. You can make it audible. Try two more like that. Coming into your breath, landing here in your body. I closed my eyes for a moment and that felt really cool. Pretty scary. Thought I might topple over, but it was fun for a moment. Now we're going to keep swinging and wrapping, but focus on a different goal. Let's move into our low back. Bring your attention to your low back. Bring your breath to your low back. We're pivoting on the balls of our feet or our toes here in order to keep our knees happy, so we shouldn't feel any resistance there. You might feel some resistance in your low back if you have tightness there. And that's why I asked you to tuck your chin and round a little in your upper back so you can really work deep down here. And as you get looser in your arms, your shoulders, your neck, your face, you might notice this slapping sensation with your arms. That's really good. Might feel weird, it might sound weird, but it's a good movement because it means that we got loose. Kind of letting everything sling around like a rag doll here. All right, each exhale, keep wringing out your low back. We'll take two more conscious breaths, combining that breath attention and our low back attention. Breathe into your low back. Breathe in some invigoration, some lightness, some opening, and exhale tension from being seated for a long time. Exhale that away. Try one more, my friends. Inhale to the low back. And as long as you can make your exhale, we'll encourage it to lengthen. As we start to slow down, we'll just do it as slowly as we started, not forcing, just allowing everything to float back to the center. And as you get back here, you might notice a sense of dizziness or discombobulation. Take a moment to get your wits about you. Pull your feet under your hips width distance with your toes facing forward. And while we're getting ourselves back together, we'll find our foundation. Spreading balls of feet far from blades, and then pulling into the inner heel, pressing down into the outer heel, finding 4 spots of our feet. And then just shifting your weight a little side to side, toes are soft. Notice how the weight distribution changes. Shift a little back, heavy in heels. Shift forward, heavy in balls of feet. Now let's try to put equal pressure on all 4 areas as we find complete stillness in our body for a moment. Turn palms forward, thumbs out, sweep up and overhead, clasping your hands. Just take a peek at me for a second before we really start moving today, yogis. See my ribs? How they're down, facing down, okay? What we're gonna try to avoid as we lunge and do warrior ones today is this pushing forward and back bending in our position. So from here, we're going to start that rib tucking down, press a prayer or clasp your hands overhead, and try to direct the pointer finger skywards. We're going to lift from the back body to stay very tucked in our core today. Lengthening up, up, up from the back side of your arm. One more big breath in. As you exhale, let the arms fall, clasp behind your low back, and now puff up your chest. But same thing, yogis, the chest will rise, ribs stay down, facing your toes here. We've had a lot of complaints lately about low back, so I'm trying not to put extra pressure on low backs by back bending when we're standing or working through strength postures. So in this way, by tucking ribs down and forward, we're going to keep our core engaged, and we're lifting from the back ribs to lengthen our low backs. Wrap knuckles around the left side of your ribs. Take a step with your right foot behind your left, a big step, yogis, like a curtsy. Yeah, and then we'll lean a little to our left. Let your left ear fall as much as it feels good. Now we've got a lot going on here through the right side of our body, from our earlobe to our pinky toe. If it's too much, I would like you to just remove your leg. Come back to standing upright if that's best. One more in-breath here. Come all the way back to center. Eyes forward, arms release, let them hang low. Unstep your leg and just wiggle for a second. Felt good. All right, pick up your right heel. Knee points straight down. And another time that we'll really watch these ribs so they don't flare forward. Think about tucking ribs down. Tuck your tailbone down. And then lengthen from the crown of your head. That puts the emphasis in the front thigh. Big breath in. Oh, it feels good. As you exhale, kick a little bit with your right foot. Kick into your right hand. Beautiful job. Release. Everything floats to the ground. Another little shake. As you clasp behind your low back again, switch all your fingers over by one. So there's a different finger on top this time. Give me a little chest pop, ribs down. I love that, spreading across the chest. Breathe wide for a moment. Feels good. Okay, snuggle hands. I like to do the whole hand. I hug my ribs, or at least just the outer wrist around the right side of your body. Take that big curtsy with your left leg. I bend my knees a little bit here so we have some buoyancy. And then as we lean a bit to the right, oh, do you feel your outer thigh? Nice. Let's polish it off with a little tip, right ear to right shoulder. Take some easy breaths. Got a long way to travel. We're going over the whole left side of body, so we'll spend an extra breath here. Wonderful job. Eyes back to center. Hands release. Give them a little shake. Footsteps back to center. Give everything a little shake. Ha, so nice. Left heel to butt. Pick it up. And then we'll think about engaging, connecting through the core. Tailbone guides down like you want to plug it into the earth as you lift through the front of your hips. Inhale. I like to lift my right arm to the sky. Exhale. Kick into your left hand. Woo, a little fireworks shot off into my thigh there. How about you? One more big breath in. Oh, that felt good. Okay, release down. Shake it all back out. Remember, shaking is a nice way to loosen from the stretches, but it can release stored trauma that is inside our body. So it's actually very effective at removing stress and tension. One more stretch before we flow. Arms rise. My friends, pat yourself on the back with your right hand. Really pat yourself on the back. You totally deserve it. Grab your right elbow point, and if possible, we'll reach behind our skulls to do so. Now, really hard here because your pop ribs forward is very natural. So we're going to try to pull our ribs back and down. Our eyes may look down for a second, but then we'll use our skull. Keep your ribs in, connect to your core. Push back with your skull. Eyes look straight forward. That's the way. Very strong core connection. We're going to work on this in our planks today too. Yes. So we have our core working the whole yoga class in this way. And we're protecting our back. Good news all around. Take a stretch to the sky. Let the arms float down. Give them a shake. Okay, let's do that again. Big pat on the back. Find your elbow point. I like to hook right arm behind the skull. And as my head pushes back, I'm aware of my ribs tugging down. It's almost like you're trying to do a standing crunch, ribs tucking towards your hips. That's the way. What are you breathing into right here? My suggestion is to breathe into your upper left arm from your elbow to your shoulder. Take some length there on the in-breath. And as you exhale, reach, release, shake out. All right, my friends. Let's do the sun salutations thing. Under the hips with distance is where we start. Every time we reach, we're going to tuck our ribs back in and down. Stretch to mountain pose, extending high to the sky. Bend knees to find a forward fold and hang as heavy as you can. Let your chin tuck up towards your chest and the back of your neck real loose and long. If it's possible here, shake your head no. Sounds kind of crunchy sometimes when you do that, right? Well, I like to shake it no while we're low because then it's hanging heavy and it will assist you in pulling out some of those kinks you might be finding. Nod your head yes, because positivity is paramount to having a great day. We have to be positive and optimistic about the way we're headed into our afternoon. Slow down all of that. Wait until you don't feel dizzy anymore. Cheap yoga thrills. And when you're ready, yogis, halfway lift. Find a slide up your shins. Move your navel away from your pelvis. Breathe in under your navel. Find that rib connection down towards the hips. Exhale, setting yourself to fold and step right leg back to kneeling lunge. Now, my friends, we're going to twist here. Let the knee, shin, and top of foot fall. Move your right hand a little more to the right and open the left hand to either the left knee or rise skywards if it feels good. Option, stay here. I love lunge twist. Or we can reach back towards the left. That would be your right foot. Reach back towards your right foot for a bigger twist. I always like to look in the direction that I'm twisting. That will enhance your twistability. If that bothers your neck, remember looking down is a great alternative. Swivel all the way back down, frame out your left foot, and shift back, hips towards your right toes. Are you able to slide your left foot any forward while maintaining that soft left knee? And then yogi's choice, plug the ball foot down or pull it towards your nose. Once you've got that adjusted, we're going to move our hearts forward. Hearts towards the left toes here. Ooh, find that big breath through the back of your left leg, especially if you're sitting in your desk chair and the knees are bent. These legs get tight. So we're going to spend a little extra time right here. Inhale one more time up the back of that leg. And as you exhale, slide back forward. Slide your left leg back a little bit. Tuck your right toes and elevate that knee, but try to keep your upper body low. If your belly or chest doesn't feel good over the thigh, come inside your left toes. We want to work into our path here, yogis. Move forward and back a few times. Push through the heel on your right foot and then push through the ball to slide forward. Did you get some snaps and crackles in your right ankle? I sure did. All right, one more big stretch before we move on. Let's lift our left legs high, 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 knee up towards your thigh. We're in pyramid pose. Same goal, moving our chest towards our left toes. Take a huge breath in. Can you expand wide left to right as you stretch navel far from your pelvis? One more big inhale. And during your exhalation, set back down the lunge, slide forward and back a few times, and use the momentum of your forward slide to step back leg forward. We're forward folding. Oh, that was awesome. If you're reaching the ground, we'll put the backs of our hands on the ground. If it feels better, put the backs of your hands on your outer calves. We just want to get a good stretch for our wrists here, releasing them. Opening top of wrist, wrinkling up the inner wrist. All right, let's release when you're ready. Take a halfway lift again. We'll begin fresh. Inhale. Feels good to take that big fresh breath in. Exhale, forward fold, sliding to kneeling lunge. Left toes land, knee, shin, and top of foot flat. Left hand opens a bit more to the side so you can twist open. Right hand could land on the thigh. That's so nice. You can give a little push there. Or if you don't need the support, you can stretch up. Oh, every move we make has its own special advantage. So whatever you're feeling, wherever the sensation is, take some extra breath right there. Be thankful we can feel these awesome, awesome, intense sensations. Moving deeper with me if you'd like, reach towards your left toes. Take a peek back there. Ooh-wee, that's a big one. One more breath. Okay, come back to center. Let's frame out that right foot. And when you're ready, guide your hips back towards your left toes, really staying soft in the right knee as we slide it forward, flexing a bit more intense, pointing in the toes, usually a bit easier for the stretch. Now, once you've given your consideration to those right feet, let's move our hearts forward towards our right toes. This leg for me lately has felt like an old rubber band that just wants to break. You know those times, right? It's just not quite right. So you take some TLC in those moments, maybe a little less intense when you find some resistance. Try not to be critical or judgmental in these moments. We're just here to observe. Rebending into that lunge when you're ready, sliding that front leg back so you can get your pyramid pose on. Let's elevate our lunge to begin. Back knee rises. And we're gonna stay here for just a moment, moving forward and back through that calf. So push out of the back toes, push through the back heel. If your fingers are getting tired on the floor, you know you have that option of fists, right? That's really nice. All right, and when that feels pretty jazzy, we're gonna lift up through our right legs. Now, what happens, yogis, is that our hips wanna poke right. So we're gonna try to draw them back towards the back toes. A soft lift to your right knee, guiding it up towards your thigh. Heart moving forward, we wanna stretch it towards the right toes. And we're here for 2 breaths. Sometimes when it's tough, we want to rush through our breath to get away from the sensation. Stay with it. Allow it to be and hopefully soften an edge or allow it to subside a little if it feels pretty intense. Rebend your right knee. Ooh, let's land the knees again. Side by side this time. And we're going to stretch out our wrists one more time before we continue. From tabletop. Backs of hands are on the ground, but we want to be light here, yogis. Light. I know that's hard. So if it's too tough, you can do one hand at a time so it doesn't feel like it's too much. All right, well done. When you feel pretty good there, come back to tabletop. Hands now are flat, palms down. We're going to step the right foot out to the right side. For that gate pose legs, keep that right knee soft, but we're gonna stay low this time, yogis. Walk your hands forward, please, and draw some big circles with your hips. In fact, it'll be your whole torso that'll move, but your hips are guiding the movement. Now your elbows will get really bendy. Your right knee will have to bend here and there in order to make it around these circles. Just doing what feels good. And then we'll switch direction, moving the other way. If something is extra interesting, let's pause in that spot. While you're moving through, can you get wide in your fingers, flat in your knuckles? Try to find long, long fingers. Come on back to the center, hold your gate pose, hands back under shoulders, and walk them to the right. We're gonna move our hands towards our right big toe. Once you reach as far as you're able to, bow down. Try to drop your ears between your elbows. That's so tough. But if you can get pretty low, you're gonna get a bonus stretch through the left shoulder blade, the left side body. Let's go the other way, my friends. Lift your head, please, and walk your hands to the left. Go all the way to opposite end of mat. Don't forget that right foot is flat still. Yeah, that blade edge wants to stay flat. Good work. Bow down if it feels good. Bonus stretch through the right side body, especially under that shoulder blade there. Give it some love. Come on back up when you're ready. We're bringing hands underneath your shoulders, scooting that foot back in. And as we pause in tabletop for a minute, you can stay here, tops of feet flat, knees resting, or challenge option, tops of feet still flat, knees elevated 1 inch. Really nice to stretch out the top of the ankle after you did that big gate pose. I almost said goat pose. That should be a thing in yoga. We don't have any goat poses. One more big breath in. Drop your knees from turbo table. Woo! Tuck your toes under. Shift back like you're about to crouch. Your thighs are on your calves. Your hands are pushing your body back, giving you a nice foot and ankle stretch here. All right, slide back forward. Let's do gate pose lower half with the left leg. Step on out, flatten. So nice. We're gonna go cat-cowing here instead. So when you're ready, exhale, puff up towards the sky, and then drop down, cow, tailbone top of head or rising. And if it feels really good, you're welcome to do those barrel rolls through your cat-cow so you can get a little bit more motion in your ocean. You're gonna be bending a little bit here through that left knee if you're moving in a really wonderfully weird way. And you're gonna be bending through your shoulders and your elbows. Just let it flow. If you did a barrel rolling option, try moving in the opposite direction. And let's finish in the center with one more cow and cat. Coming back to the plain vanilla version if you rolled through like a barrel. Beautiful, my friends. Drawing navel back in, lengthening top of head to tail, and walking our hands to the left, please. As far as they'll go, we'll draw hips the opposite way and bow down with our faces. Allowing a peaceful expression to come to our face, surrendering the facial features, releasing tension. Rise through the eyes when you're ready and slide over to your right side. A little mantra to work with as we breathe over here. Stretch away from left toes and bow down. Inhaling, I am spacious. Exhaling, I am calm. Try one more breath minimum. You know you can always linger longer. Inhale, rise. Slide on back to the center. Just pause in tabletop as you draw your left leg back in, or optionally, tops of feet flat, turbo table. Now, if you want to do turbo table, but the tops of feet flat bother you, drop your knees, tuck your toes, lift your knees an inch or two. Come on back down, tuck toes, crouch back this time. We're gonna lift the knees, walk the hands back towards the toes, and then I like to even move a little side to side to let my thighs roll over the calves side to side. Heels may be lifted, heels may be flat, whatever feels good. When you're ready, yogis, we're gonna pick our hips all the way up to forward fold. Let's refine the top of our yoga mats. Take an inhale to halfway lift. If you don't need your fingers for support, reach them back behind you. Thumbs would swivel towards the sky to fan wide across your chest. Exhale, forward fold. Left leg steps all the way back, landing your foot flat. We're gonna warrior one here. So our toes are pointing out to the left, long edge of our yoga mats, and we rise overhead with that beautiful spinal integrity, long and strong through the spine, ribs pointing down towards our hips. Take a big breath in, eyes straight forward, and when you're ready to breathe out, draw the arms down to goalpost. Can you bend your right knee any deeper? Beautiful job. Press palms forward. We're trying to connect our palms and our elbows. It's okay if your elbows are wider. They can't connect. It's quite all right. Pulsing fingertips towards the ceiling to work into our shoulders during this warrior one. Let's try for 4 more. I know it gets hot here, especially because you're breathing on your forearms and there's not much space. We're almost done. One big lift and hold. Reach arms back forward. Woo-hoo, that was spicy. Right arm underneath the left. Give yourself a hug. Walk your fingers to hold the edges of your shoulder blades if you can. And then backs of hands pressed together, eagle arms. Elevating fingertips as high as it feels good. Opening your back body. One more breath in this warrior one. Releasing, opening, trying not to fall over if you're in my space. That was my work. Lift through your back heel. Release the hands, frame your front foot. Yogis, step to plank, please, when you're ready. Now, as we find this plank, we are thinking about how we've been working on these ribs. So let's let our knees drop if you need to. But we're gonna pull in with the ribs, pull down towards the hips, feel like you're dragging your hands back towards your toes, squeeze your butt. It's a lot of squeezing going on. Are you shaking yet? Squeeze your thumbs towards one another. So we're going inwards from left to right, inwards from top to bottom. One more breath. Drop your knees, sit back in child's pose. Turn your palms to face the sky. Wonderful job. Take a moment here to rest. I still would love for your arms to stay extended overhead if you can. So you're still stretching out from all that strengthening. One more big breath to recover. On your exhalation, roll palms back down. Let's come forward to table, tuck our toes, and lift hips. Finally, we made it to downward facing dog. Replug in through the middle knuckles of your fingers. Widen your fingers. Find movement or stillness. Whatever your body's craving, let it be. First down dog, we're gonna hold a little longer. We're still here, yogis. 3 more breaths. Have another big breath in, and as you breathe out, let's look forward and slide our feet, tiptoe our feet, whatever feels good. Find your forward fold. Rolling yourself one vertebrae at a time, let's give attention to each area of our spine, low, mid, upper. When you're standing, roll your shoulders back and down a time or 10, however many you need, to work out some kinks. Oh, that feels good. Might need to hold the forearms or the hands behind your low back after all that hugging forward. Reclaim that space and fill up your lungs. That's better. Okay, let's repeat. Inhale, extend high. Heels are invited. Would they like to lift? Why not? Release, forward fold. Take a big, effortless spill forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach fingers back if you can. If you do, thumbs will swivel up, palms out, really opening your chest here. And on any exhale, floating back down. Right leg takes the long lunge back. Shimmy that foot flat so that as you rise, you feel like your heart and your hips are directing themselves towards your left knee. And as you find your way to your warrior one, is there any more bend? Yes? All right, I like it. Take a big, huge breath in. Exhale, arms forward. Let's bend at the elbow and try to press. Palms are definitely together. I know we can do that. But could you press the elbows and forearms together? Are you there? Okay, let's pulse, yogis. Whatever you got is good. If we are unable to press our elbows, that just tells us, hey, body, we're feeling a little tight in our shoulders. Maybe even in our upper back. 4. Breath here. Beautiful job. Let everything extend forward. Open the arms. Let's cross our left arm under the right. Work to find the edges of your shoulder blades. I'm using my fingers and they're crawling, crawling, crawling to the shoulder blades. Well done. And then we'll attempt to press the backs of our hands together. Might just be our wrists. It might be our forearms. That pushing together sensation will open the upper back. Elbows rise 1 more inch if we can. Fingers climbing high as our ribs tuck down and our tail plugs down. Untangle all of that. Be big, be spacious, be bold. Let your fingers float down. Back heel rises. We're back in lunge, and we're gonna find that plank again, yogis. Now, as you do, bring your big toes to touch this time for an added challenge. Draw in from left to right. Think about squeezing armpits together. Draw back, heels of hands towards toes. Ribs are still pointing towards your hips. Now lift your belly as if you're scooping out a big bowl of ice cream. Are you breathing? Are you shaking? I know I am. Settle down through the knees. Shift your hips back. Child's pose. And as you find your palms facing the sky, we'll bow down with our heads and make a tiny soft fist in each hand. When you have your fists, yogis, climb your elbows a little bit closer in and towards your shoulders so that you can bend your knuckles towards the ceiling. It's a wrist stretch. Knuckles are trying to face the ceiling in our fist. Knuckles are pulling towards the tops of our heads. One more breath. Try to unclench here and clench through your jaw and your facial features. And then we'll send the arms back out long, unfist. Turn your palms down, roll forward table. We're gonna slide all the way back to downward facing dog for 3 breaths this time. Still loving on this down dog, a little extra today. Let's come together this time during our breathing. Heels are a little bit wider than our hips width distance. Inhale, lift your heels, both of them high. And then exhale, send your heels to the left, bending through your left knee. Take a really big right body stretch. Inhale back to center. Exhale, heels fall to the right. Bend your right knee. Breathe into the left side of your body. Inhale, coming back to center. Yogis, let's make our way through soft plank. We don't need to engage on this one. And all the way down to lie on our stomachs. You could bend your knees if you'd like, but we're hugging elbows in as we descend. Once we get flat, we'll point our toes way far away. And we're coming back into that goalpost we made in our last warrior one. Open your arms to a big goalpost. Draw your elbows back like they're trying to touch your rib cage. Squeeze through the bottom of your shoulder blades. Now, as much as your space will allow, reach all the way forward and overhead. All the way, all the way, all the way. Turn your thumbs to face the sky. Palms flat again, draw back. That goalpost becomes a squeeze between the shoulder blades. Press forward as far as you can reach. Thumbs turn up for that one. Let's try 2 more. Exhale as you draw back, hovering your nose and your forehead here. Inhale, stretch long, thumbs up. Exhale, draw back, squeeze tight like there's a pencil between your shoulder blades that you want to clamp onto. Inhale, reach as far as you can, thumbs up for yoga. Make a pillow with your hands, rest your forehead, drop the tension away from your backside, unclench, let your hips rock side to side. Ooh-wee. That was a big one. We're gonna stretch out by twisting that tension away from our back. Come to stillness with your lower half. Bring your hands by your rib cage to boost you up to table. We're gonna try to stay in the puppy version of our threaded needle. Open your right arm to the sky. Now you may need to plant left hand a bit more under your nose, and you might like to widen your knees a bit for stability. Right arm to sky, big stretch up. Drape it around your low back for a moment. Okay, the puppy version of threaded needle just means that our hips are over our knees as opposed to being back here in child's pose for threaded needle. So we're gonna reach all the way back to the sky and then come under, try to tap your left shoulder blade for your first twist. One more just like that. Inhale, reach up to the sky. We'll keep our arm high this time. Exhale, tap your left shoulder blade and then stretch your right arm all the way under the left. Keep your hips high on this one. Once you get rested on the right side of your face, stretch your left arm overhead, tent your fingertips there. Option yogis to take the left arm around your low back instead. Now, what are your hips doing? They want to go to the left side. So we're gonna be aware of that and try to tug them back in towards the center. Makes a big difference, doesn't it? It's just a very much more connected way to find this position. We are in control of how we're moving. Let's try one more big breath in. If you had your arm around your low back, let's put that left arm back by our noses, sliding it on in. And then we'll take one more big reach to the sky. Right arm on up. A little bit of a backward circle here. Maybe a forward circle. Release out through that shoulder. And then come back to tabletop. Woo, nice work. Wiggle around a little bit. All right, let's do the other side. If you'd like to adjust your knees maybe a little wider, your right hand may come under your nose. We're gonna open the left arm for the first breath. And pause. Wrap it around your low back. Give yourself a big old twist. To begin, we're just gonna give ourselves another pat on the back because that's how much we deserve it. Inhale, left arm high. Exhale, wrap under. Try to tap your right shoulder blade or pat, pat, pat. Try again, big inhale. One more hug around the right shoulder blade, but this time we'll land. Reach on out, slide down to your left temple. Now watch your hips right away. They probably want to sway towards the right side. That's okay. We'll collect those in a minute. Let's get our right arms where they want to be, overhead or around the low back. And then check in. Are you able to pull the hips square? Feeling here that they're pretty much still over. They may be a bit behind, but over our knees, there's still a stack from the hips to the knee rather than a pushing out to the right side. One more big breath in. At the bottom of that exhale, bring your right hand back by your nose. Take another big stretch to the sky with your left arm. Just pause. And then do a backward circle, maybe just a half. Feels good? Do another one. We'll go forward this time. Oh, that's nice. Okay, let's take a rest here in tabletop for a moment. And when that feels good, coming back to normal in the spine, we'll let our hips fall. Send our legs out long in front of us and wiggle around a little bit so we're clear of flesh under the sits bones. Stretching out through the heels. Pulling the toes back towards our noses and always micro bending our knees. So a little space here under the knees. Very nice. Press your hands down. If that's too far to reach, press your fists down. And we're gonna sit as tall as we can. Draw navel in, tuck ribs down towards your hips. Keep this spinal integrity and reach up to the sky. Energize through the spine even more. One more inhale. Exhale, forward fold. With flexed toes, all 5 are facing your hips. Good work. All right, once you've gotten out long, we're gonna take a big spill down. Feel free to totally relax through your face. Close your eyes. If you like to hold something, but it's a little slippery on your legs, you can grab the edges of your yoga mat and it'll get a little wrinkly, but it's nice. We're gonna take a bend in the elbows and use this mat to tug our nose towards our toes. Lift a little bit through your navel and see if you can release even more deeply over your thighs. And if that's bothersome for your stomach or chest, move your legs a little wider. Coming on back up to seated. Let's stay with the legs extended, but we're gonna use a hand on each side of our right leg and just guide it out to the side. Same thing with the left, guide it out to the side. Yeah, it doesn't have to be huge, but we do feel a little something, right? Okay, trick number 2, take that thigh flesh, lift it and turn it back behind you. So you wanna lift it and move it back. Lift it and move it back. It's a little rolling forward with the top, right? All right, last trick. This is the dirty trick. We're gonna put a hand in front and a hand in back. Try to lift our butts and scoot forward up to 3 times. Might not work at all, we'll see. We'll see what we can do today. Lift, scoot, woohoo. Lift, scoot, no words necessary, just sound effects. Woo, lift, scoot, that's enough. Now, if you did your scoot, you probably can't fold, but we're gonna have that intention. So sit tall on the in-breath. You choose, do you wanna point or flex? Yeah, I like the flex. And then we'll take a big spill forward, or should I say miniature spill forward. Mine went about 1 inch. You do what you can. And we're gonna breathe into the whole inside of our thighs, groin, pelvis, hips. Our hands might be acting as kickstands here because this is very challenging. So if there's any way possible to loosen your shoulders, trust your body, loosen your elbows, your fingers. Perhaps even tuck your chin towards your chest for a moment. Unclench your jaw. I noticed mine was really offset there for a minute because I was trying to hold on for dear life. So we'll let go of that. And as you slide your hands back up, sit tall, my friends. And if this is not your cup of tea, bring the soles of your feet together for bound angle. You remember that, right? Soles of feet together, knees wide, like a butterfly wing. Because we're gonna do a little side bending. Here or in bound angle. Let the right arm find its way out. Lift your left arm, inhale. And then lean over to the right side. Try to relax that right shoulder. So if it's stuck on your leg, move it maybe behind or a bit further forward, whatever works. Now, wherever we are, we want length in the left side. So we're trying to plug down through our left sits bones here. With a bent knee or a straight leg, we're turning our body towards the right. And we're gonna try to fold over this right leg, yogis. Try to swivel your navel in that direction. If you're still in your straddle, it is going to be hard to fold. We'll just do the best we can. One more inhale here. Full exhale. Hands come back around the thigh. Give yourself a boost up and swivel to the center. Before we lean again, we're going backwards, my friends. Just set the hands behind you, thumbs out, fingers back. Give your stomach, your chest, your throat the time to really open up from all that folding inwards. Come back to me when you're ready. If your head fell back, tuck that first, and then have a little seat up. All right, let's lean to the left. Slide your left hand out. When you get your lift in your side bend, if you feel like you clipped on an earring, move your hand somewhere that the shoulder can be really light and low. Let's try another in-breath here. Have the intention of swiveling your navel to the left, no matter how tiny it is, that's where the energy's headed. We're gonna take our eyesight there and see if we can fold. I didn't get anywhere in my fold, but we're doing the best we can. Even if we don't see something happening, we sure do feel it, don't we? And then I noticed right away, because this is super intense for me, that my shoulders were kicked up to my ears because I'm trying to hold myself away. So the best you can, soften in and allow, just receive the stretch. One more inhalation. As you exhale, give yourself a little boost. Lean back again, just for a moment. One big inhale. Exhale, sit back up tall, and we might, if we're in the straddle version, need to help our legs back in. So same way they got here. I'll usually take a hand on each leg, pull it in. Hand on the other leg, pull it in. Woo, wowee. And when we get here, we're gonna bring the feet flat, knees wider than hips width distance. Make sure you don't feel pinched under your tail or sits bones. And then we'll take a little slow motion tick-tock to let our outer hips come back to normal. When we open the inner thighs, we work the outer hips. So we need to give them some relief here. How's that feel? All right, my friends. Now, depending on whether you can stay till 2, if you can stay till 2, come down to the mat with me. If you can't, it is only 1:53, but I don't want you to get halfway into your twists and then have to leave. So I'd say either leave now or stick it out till the end. All right, my friends, we're gonna come down and steeple our knees. So let's hold the backs of our thighs, make a C shape in your spine and roll back to your mat. Once your head and back are rested, put your feet flat again, knees touch, feet wide, and just rest in steeple knee for a moment. It's my favorite thing to do at night before I fall asleep. I'll do a little knee steepling and then I'll just swish side to side. It feels really good when you're in a bed. Well, for now, let's just steeple one more moment here. And start to crawl your feet back under your knees. A little heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Hug your left knee towards your chest, extending the right leg if it feels good. And if we do that, it'll be right under our hips width distance. Give a big, strong squeeze through that left knee, clearing all the old air out from your belly. So you might have an extra puff at the bottom of your exhale. I make mine audible, so I'll breathe out and then I'll go at the bottom. Get rid of that air. Let the left arm widen as your right arm guides left knee over your stomach, all the way to the right side. And once you've arrived, yogis, widen shoulder blades and crawl your skull out long from your tailbone. Settling eyes to the left when you're ready. I believe that these spinal twists are one of the most therapeutic exercises for not just our backs, our whole hips, our whole outer thighs. So we're gonna stay today for 3 more breaths, 5 breaths per twist. And to counter this, finish that exhalation right at the bottom. We'll move our eyes to the sky and draw the knee back in, but switch hands. Keep that left knee. Switch your hand. Now your left hand will be a kickstand as the knee falls open. We don't want it to fall open too far. We've already done that. So we're gonna just let everything open back up in the pelvis. Give it a hug back in towards your chest. and step it flat to start. Let's check in with the other side. Right knee, hug, hug. Now, if that left leg wants to crawl out long, it'll go just underneath the hip bone, so it's straight rather than off to that left side somewhere. Our next exhale, we'll take a big giant squeeze of our thigh. Try to press it into your belly and an extra puff out at the bottom of your exhale. I love that. All right, arm opens wide. Left arm guides the knee across your body. Being kind and loving wherever you land, no judgment here. Widening your shoulder blades, top of head pulls far from tail. So very interesting how the sides of our bodies are so different. On my other side, my shoulder was resting and my knee was hovering. On this side, my knee wants to almost rest, but my arm is really high. So I love to discover these things about ourselves. This probably means, one, that our back is a little tighter if we're hovering, or even that it could be like our pectoral muscles, our shoulders are feeling tight if the arm is hovering. Not a bad thing at all, because you noticing is magical. Then we know we give it a little extra love with your breath. Eyes move off to the right when you're ready to settle for 3 more breaths. Eyes back skywards when you're ready to release. As you bring your right knee back in, we'll center everything up so we feel long, top of head to tail, hips to toes. And then we'll use the right arm as a kickstand. It'll hold the right leg open to the side just a little so we can breathe all that space back into the front of our bellies, chests, down into our hips and groin. Draw it back in, give it a big squeeze, and then we'll meet it with the left knee. Both knees are hugged in towards your stomach or chest. Rock around a little to stimulate your spine. We want to encourage our spines to be long and strong, really erect, but not stiff or rigid for the rest of today while we're working. So we're going to give it a little snuggle, a little love here. Okay, and whatever side feels appropriate, we'll roll to that side and our bottom arm will become our pillow. Don't close your eyes because I don't want you to conk out on me here. It's pretty easy to do. Use your hands before you fall asleep. Top hands to press you all the way back around to tabletop. Feels good to put some weight back into our wrist, doesn't it? Shift back so that your knees lift. You're on the balls of your feet and you're going to walk your hands towards your toes. Lift up through your hips. Hang heavy in a final forward fold of this practice. And as you roll yourself to rise, I hope that you feel a bit fresher, a bit more full of love and compassion for your amazing, capable body. And I hope you feel that your energy has spiked just a little bit, that your mood has improved. Taking time to be grateful for our amazing bodies. I am grateful for our yoga community, and I'm so grateful for you in particular. Thank you for moving with me today. Thank you for allowing me to guide you, and namaste, meaning my light honors you.